I wanted to talk about the farmers.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about. There was stuff I even pointed to. Is like, oh my
Yeah.
God, we're not even going to have a chance to talk about XYZ because there's so much happening. So, but I feel like there's some stuff going on with American farmers on U.S. soil that is important to note right now. I'm very worried about our food.
Yeah, you are. You keep talking about it, and it
I
scares
keep
me.
talking about it. It's scary. I'm worried about our drugs as well. I'm worried about the oversight of all of that. But I am very concerned about the food. So the U.S. farmers have found themselves sort of under a three-pronged attack from the Trump administration in this very short period of time that many of them were not expecting. They weren't paying attention. They voted for him or they, whatever. They maybe weren't connecting some of the great sort of benefits they were engaging in recently to the Biden administration because there was such poor messaging around all of that. So they didn't even know how good they had it, and that it was all going to get torn apart. So here are the three attacks as I was sort of watching this of like, what's going on? Why is this administration really coming after farmers? The first thing that the Trump administration is doing is dismantling and getting rid of that infrastructure, the big Biden Infrastructure Act and that huge effort, right? So it turns out about $20 billion of the Infrastructure Act was going directly to U.S. farmers. So 19 point something, conditioned upon them bringing their technology, their farms, their land up into the sort of conservation mode. So preserving the soil, doing certain things that actually are an expense. It's an investment in the farms to get them to take into account everything from climate change to sort of, longevity, turning your crops, things that were necessary in terms of progress with our food production in this country. And so that money had been allocated, but was also going directly to the farmers. So they were receiving it if they were engaged in those methods of like, okay, I'm going to do some conservation on my land. I'm going to, turn the soil over, these kinds of things. Oh, we lost our Licks the kitty cat. Lixie, it's okay. So that it's fine. I'm going to plug in the light in a second because you guys can see me fine.
Yeah.
So the kitty cat was playing with the light. The farmers are noticing, where's my money? Where's my money? They've made an investment based upon this deal. They're expecting this money to come in to help subsidize all the improvements or the changes that they've made, and it's nowhere to be found. This caused a big uproar. It's mainly in Iowa, actually. A lot of the Iowa folks are feeling this. Caused a big uproar. Of course, they're calling their Congress people and their senators who are then talking to Trump. And there's coming out of the White House now, no, messaging all of a sudden because they realize this is a big fucking deal. The farmers are pissed, right? You've taken their money. They're going to go, they need that money. They've maybe even taken out a loan expecting this money. They're in a pickle. And the whole thing is, oh, no. We just froze the wrong things. We're going to unfreeze that money. Well, they've only unfrozen 1% of it. So they're still not seeing it, even though the messaging, again, it's just like, let's just make the message that we've unfrozen that. Like, as if people are going to, oh, I believe you. No, the farmers are looking. They're like, it's not in my fucking bank account, right?
Yeah.
What are you unfreezing? I don't have it. And there was a judge, because of course this went to court very quickly. If you can't just freeze this infrastructure, but you have to put, these things are already allocated by Congress. You need to put the money where it's supposed to be. And the farmers were part of that. And the judges said, hey, Trump administration, you guys, you can't do this. They're still not acting on that court order. They're not not unfreezing the funds. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So that's lane number one, is, the Biden stuff that was really benefiting farmers and that they were relying on, Trump is wiping away because it was Biden, right? Attack number two are the tariffs. So a lot of our fertilizer, as it turns out, for a lot of U.S. farmland comes from Canada. And with with the trade wars, or whatever the fuck we want to call this thing that Trump is engaging in with Canada, the farmers are very concerned that they're not going to be able to fertilize their land, fertilize their crops, or be able to afford to do it because it's just going to be so outrageously expensive. So that's the second attack. They're freaking out about that. Again, another financial attack. And the third thing is actually the workforce. So where you had farmers voting for Trump, most of them voted for Trump because in that first term there was all this, oh, we're going to build a wall and we're going to blah, and none of it ever happened. And we've got AP
Hey,
is reporting on
it's like
people.
a quarter mile
It's
of
a
that
quarter
wall.
mile of the wall on workers saying, oh yeah, even the workers, the immigrant, or people who've established residency and can vote, voting for Trump or supporting Trump or loving Trump because they're like, yeah, he didn't do that to the first time. He wasn't going to do that. It was all just a whatever. Ha ha. It's just our fun racism that gets us all excited. Well, but folks are afraid. They're not showing up to work. And you have certain farmers, like dairy farmers, that's not crop specific, right? It's not even harvesting like a pig farmer where you're going to harvest the pigs or a cattle farmer harvesting for the meat. It's dairy farmers. It's year round. You're milking those cows, right? So you need that labor workforce year round. It's not even the seasonal workers coming in that have those passes. You need established workforce. And one of the dairy farmers I saw, it was like, okay, well, what if it's Americans taking these jobs now and you have to pay them the wages that he's like, I cannot afford to pay Americans the wages they expect. So this is it's all about this low cost of labor, right? And I can't, they're going to only work 40, 50 hours a week. I need someone to work 800 hours a week, like literally admitting to all this. And sort of like, if I lose my workforce under the conditions that it is right now, I'm out of business in a month, basically, these farmers are saying. So that's the three-prong attack.
It sounds like FAFO, farm around, find out.
Farm around and find out. But I'm pleased that this part of our population and our labor force and our supply, food supply, is waking up to the betrayal and how bad it's going to be for them.